Oh, did I hear an extra instrument or so in that? Whatever it was, I liked it. But in any case, he's like an instrument, though, isn't he? Welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490 AM, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. So Doyle Glass is waving. He's watching on Facebook. So real quick, to get this really out of the way, give me a call, email, or visit www.drheckham.com. That's drhecm.com, or give me an email at bestloantoday@gmail.com. And here's this thing, which is always nice. And you can always give me a call also, which is really quick and easy. And that phone number is helping with this too. 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And we will just have a happy conversation about knowledge, and knowledge is power, and that's the reason you want to call, just to find out what is going on. So do I have a day job? Yes, I do. Thankfully I do, and I am a loan officer at the Loan Source, NMLS 384565, Department of Real Estate 792630. And I don't do real estate, but our guest does. Daryl, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me, Jay?
I can hear you. Now, Daryl's the only. Now, he's definitely a repeat offender, and as far as I know, I think he's the only person on earth with a bigger mouth than mine. Do you agree?
I think that's accurate.
Okay, now. So I think here's what we'll do. We'll keep you on the entire show, but we will be definitely talking about what we do and how to get a hold of you and all that good stuff on the second half. But stay here and chime in on anything and everything until we get there, okay?
That's a deal.
Because I think this will make it a more interesting program. Now, you may notice I have my doctor's uniform on. I don't remember whether I've done this much lately with the beard, but I wanted to see what it looked like. So there you go. So today is National Moldy Cheese Day. And this is to be a cheesemonger, to celebrate the good mold on blue cheese, Roquefort, Camembert, Gorgonzola, and Stilton. So there you go. You see that? That is cheese.
Wait a minute. Let me try some of that.
Thank you. All right. I wish I could try some, but that would make my mouth stick together for a while. Now, Ruth or Ray, if you're listening, I said I would explain today what the term big cheese and big wheel, they were originally coined to refer to those people wealthy enough to purchase a wheel of cheese. So that being said, we're going to bring on, and Daryl helped me bring on NASA Nellie to tell us about the Pascagoula, Mississippi incident. Take it away, NASA Nellie.
Okay, here we go. On the evening of October 11th, 1973, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker were fishing off a pier on Pascagoula River in Mississippi on a night they will never forget. Suddenly they heard a whizzing sound, saw flashing blue lights shining out of the clouds. Then a 40-foot across and 10-foot high oval-shaped object appeared over the water. They claimed that they were conscious and paralyzed, whilst three creatures took them aboard a craft that was nothing they have ever seen.
Let me do this
The
first.
creatures had no neck, gray skin, and crab-like claws for hands. As the creatures grabbed the men by their arms, they literally floated into the craft. They were placed in front of an X-ray type machine that looked like a big eye. After physical examinations, they were released back to the river. Stunned by their experience, they reported it to the local sheriff, which resulted in questioning of the abductees. When the officials left the interrogation room, the men didn't realize that their conversations with each other were being secretly recorded. The result was a discussion of their fear of their horrific experience, proving very unlikely that the story was a hoax. Then that story became worldwide. Later, other witnesses have come forward to admit seeing the same lights over the water that night, even waves in the water after the men splashed down into the river. A historical marker was placed by the city to commemorate the event on the banks of that river, and Charles Hickson was the only abductee ever interviewed on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show as he told his story under hypnosis.
Well, thank you, NASA Nelly. I don't think. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we do have another visitor besides Daryl. Now, Daryl, what do you think? Do you believe in UFOs?
You know what? I thought I was seeing double there for a minute, Jay.
Well, I know, but you
I
can't
didn't
tell
know- I
which
didn't know
one's
you
better
had a twin.
looking, right?
I didn't know you had a twin, but he, unlike you, has been very closely shaven.
Yes. Yeah,
No
well, they
beard.
don't, you know, as evolution goes forward, we lose hair. So, you know, for those people who actually think that, you know, some of these come from the future, who knows? Who knows? But do you believe in UFOs?
I keep myself cautiously
Open.
suspicious of such things.
Right. Would you like to be abducted?
Absolutely. In fact, back in my 20s, I requested it many times. It just
Yeah,
never happened.
I'm not so sure about that. I'm not sure that getting what you wish for in that point. I don't know. I'd like to know some things for sure. I believe I'm open-minded. Getting, I don't know, but you know, I did have that one weird experience in Taos, but I'm not going to waste our time right now. I think I'll bring it up another time because we got a couple of birthdays here to talk about. Jacques Tati was born in 1907 and left us in 1982. Now, he may not be a household word, but he is in this household. He was a French mime, filmmaker, actor, and screenwriter. He excelled as a horseback rider and as a tennis student, and all of that while he was in school. And after returning from the military, he became a performance artist, and while playing rugby, realized how comedic he could be by impersonating his teammates. He became a star act as a cabaret performer in theaters in Paris, London, and Berlin, and started actually making movies in the early 1940s, some of my favorite all-time movies. We'll start with the one that was earlier, 1949. School for Postmen and Jour de Fête. Both of those are on this laser disc. What I would consider probably my favorite would be Mr. Hulot's Holiday. And there's a picture of that anyway. And my uncle is probably considered by most of the people on Earth as their favorite. His first color film, and it won Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. And when he won, the Academy asked him what gift they could give him, and his answer was he requested the opportunity to visit Stan Laurel, Max Sennett, and Buster Keaton in their nursing homes. Playtime, considered by many as his masterpiece, came out in 1967. It's when he first moved away from Mr. Hulot as his main act. And oh, here's playtime. It's pretty. It shows lots of scenes in mirrors and glass, and it corresponds, or it shows old Paris and new Paris, and it kind of shows the conflict between the two. And even a household name like Francois Truffaut said, it's too bad we've lost him. It was a film that comes from another planet where they make films differently. So I don't know. I also it brings up some great times with like Samuel Muncie and his mother in Cambria, where they actually introduced us to some of this stuff, and we would, make a party out of a Thanksgiving dinner by watching some of this stuff. And this is a question I couldn't answer, but Jerry Lewis was a much bigger star in France than he was here. And I know Jerry Lewis was perhaps anal in a way, and he was a complete perfectionist. But I wonder if a lot of his popularity in France was because of Tati. And between the two, I still go with Tati much more than Jerry. But Guillermo del Toro, 1964. Now, that makes him just a kid. You know him, right? Daryl?
I've never met. We've never met.
You never met? All right. Well, he is a Mexican filmmaker.
Okay.
I guess we call him Mexican. He lives here. Brings up Mexican film. You talk about Korean film, or you talk about French film. But when you talk about the masters in Mexico, they're still like not Mexican film, they're American film, usually. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't.
Yeah. So he is a filmmaker, author, actor, and former special effects makeup artist. He experimented in Jalisco as a boy with his father's 8mm camera and his Planet of the Apes toys. I think that's pretty cool.
Really?
In 1997, while filming Mimic, his father was kidnapped in Guadalajara. Now, another famous name, James Cameron, and we've certainly talked about him and how he got famous. But James Cameron, a good friend, withdrew $1 million in cash from his own account to give to Del Toro towards the ransom. Kidnappers were never found and money never recovered. That event prompted Del Toro to move to California permanently. And movies, kind of 1993, Kronos. And here's what the cover of that one looks like. Followed by Mimic, which I think I have around here but couldn't find. The Devil's Backbone in 2001. These are all, to me, great films. Hellboy in 2004. Also Hellboy 2. I liked one better, but he did both. And this began some of his relationship with, what's the guy's name? We'll take a look at the back, and I don't know why, but so be it. And then in 2006, Pan's Labyrinth, which is mind-boggling in my opinion, and so is the way the time is going by. But anyway, did you see Pan's Labyrinth, Daryl or Sean?
I did not.
No, I did not.
I think you should. Anyway,
what year was that?
2006.
Okay, not that long ago. Okay.
And it won Best Academy Awards for Best Production Design, Best Cinematography, Best Makeup and Hair. Nominated for Screenplay, and it was nominated for the Best Foreign Language Film, but more a bit on that a bit later. I think it should have won.
Questions for you, Jay.
Yeah.
Questions for you.
Yeah.
Question one, what was it about, briefly? And question two, say the name slowly of the film.
Pan, the Pan apostrophe S Labyrinth, Labyrnth.
Okay.
And if I have it again, I don't know if you're watching, but you'll see it eventually.
I am.
There it is. I think a German film called The Lives of Others, which is also very good, won that year. But
And what was it about roughly?
well, it's hard to say what it's about, right? It's about
you don't want to give it away.
Ron Perlman is the guy I was trying to think of before, who I think is great. And that was the beginning of that relationship. And he popped up again in Pacific Rim.
Is it subtitles or is it?
No. The only one that's in subtitles that I think he ever did is Pan's Labyrinth. And because of the subtitles, I think it should have won Best Film of the Year, but that was before the era of Parasite, which changed things, I think, for the good in many things. But Pan's Labyrinth won lots of other awards, and then he went ahead to Pacific Rim in 2013, and I loved it. It was, for anyone who loved Godzilla and Giant Robot. And did you see that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that one you can't. I mean, it's almost, Crimson Peak was 2015. And then The Strain was a television series that brought the books of the same name to that smaller screen. There's 3 volumes to this book. This one's pretty thick, and I read it and I loved it. It was written along with Chuck Hogan, who is a really big time author, especially in the horror genre. And then here's volume 2 right here. And volume 2, by the way, is actually signed by both people, both authors. So there, but Guillermo has a bigger name, because of the movies. But both of these are great guys.
Did you sign the book twice?
Yes, but I had to change my whole personality twice. So I did like being Guillermo del Toro, now that you mention it, because he's got these 2 huge houses in California, I guess, that are completely filled with all kinds of memorabilia and horror and science fiction stuff. Now, The Shape of Water was 2017. Did you see that one?
No, I heard it was very good, though.
Yeah, it was very good. But to me, it was not as good as Pan's Labyrinth. And that is saying a lot. But it did win for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Musical Score, Best Production Design, and up for a whole lot more. So, what I think that with those 2 houses that I was talking about, with the collections, I think it kind of took over for Forrest Ackerman and his home and collections.
Wow.
So he's got a couple of, Mr. Del Toro has a couple of good friends who are also directors, and I thought we'd give them some honorable mention here. And those people are Alfonso Cuarón and Alejandra Inarritu, all 3 among the best directors alive today. And that's just not my opinion, but Alejandra did Birdman. Did you see Birdman?
I did.
I thought it was great. So
Very
Oscar for Best Movie, Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best Screenplay. I think that means 3 times for Alejandra himself. He also did 21 Grams. What do I have here? I have 21 Grams.
Sean Penn and Naomi Watts.
Yeah, and he did Babel. He did The Reverend, which I don't have a copy of close by. I didn't see that. Did you, Daryl or Sean? I didn't either. Now, I know that It's about this trapper whose name was Hugh Glass, and I've seen his story a couple of times on History, so I don't know. I know the story, but it won for Best Actor for what's his name? What was his name?
Leonardo.
Leonardo da Vinci, cinematographer, director. Now, Alfonso Cuarón.
Did you mean Leonardo DiCaprio or Da Vinci?
Oh no, I meant Da Vinci, but it was actually DiCaprio.
Were you working on your Da Vinci software earlier?
I was, but and that's why I have a friend of mine that I met about, I don't know, 37 years ago, who, knows I do a lot of that editing, and he suggested I sit in my director's chair for doing this, the radio show. But in any case, that's the reason, and thank you, Louis, that's the reason I put on my doctor's thing here again. Now, Sean, just give me a warning whenever you want to break, and I will break in a couple of minutes, no matter what. But Alfonso, all right, then let's break now, and I've got another director to talk about, and we'll move on. Is that okay with you, Daryl?
Yeah, that'll be
okay, great. So I hope it's okay with all of the listeners too. Don't go away. There I am, drinking some Glucerna. Hunger shake. But that was a Ron Siegel ad. And Daryl, I don't remember whether you know Ron or not.
I don't think I've had the pleasure yet.
Okay, I am on his show at least once a month, and it's coming up again in a couple of weeks. I had to put it off because I had to see the doctor about what my future would be, and I think that turned out pretty good. So
that's great news. We'll be celebrating that real soon, my friend.
Yes, that's right. Tequila is back on my menu, by the way.
Your lovely bride has agreed to prepare a extraordinary meal for both of us.
Okay.
And then we'll have champagne toast.
All right, but so that I stay on her good side, let me finish the stuff we put in, and please feel a part of the conversation. The third, and then we're going to talk about some other things, but I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. That third director, Alfonso Cuarón, I think is amazing. He did Gravity, and he did, there's Gravity. Won Best Director Oscar, also won Best Score, Best Cinematography. And the cinematographer, by the way, who are very important people, was Emmanuel Lubezki, the same one that won the Academy Award for cinematography for Birdman and for Revenant. Also won, editor, director, so Cuarón himself, visual effects, editing, sound mixing, sound editing. He did Prisoner of Azkaban, which I actually think was the best of all of the Harry Potter films. I like all three. I like all of them, but I think all three were way ahead of the others, where I think they just decided not to spend the money anymore on big-time directors. And anyway, and they're all okay. They're just not great. And so Cuarón, Alfonso also did Children of Men. Now, I think Children of Men is one of the finest films ever made in the history of cinema. Ever made. And I won't ask if anybody's seen it, because probably not. I think perhaps there was just too much philosophy for many people. And it may, who knows, it may catch up with society over time. Hopefully it already is. But he also did Roma. And when I asked Nasa Nelly the other day about her opinion of the best movies of the past 20 years, please feel free, Daryl, to jump in, but her choice, and I'm not sure this is a lot different than mine, but I just would have to think and maybe add some more. I didn't ask her for the best three, I just asked for the best films, and they were not particularly in order, but Pan's Labyrinth, Children of Men, and District 9. Now, Do you have anybody want to add, Sean or Daryl? Anybody want to add anything to best films of the last 20 years?
No, I think I'm going to go with you on that one.
And I really love the newer Blade Runner, and I think the rest of the world will catch up to that as they did with the original one. But there's Blade Runner. There's Dracula, which Del Toro said is one of his favorite films. And there's just another one that Del Toro was part of the production network and all that with. And with that, Daryl, I want to edit this on that DaVinci Resolve and see if you can put yourself in the center of the frame a little more.
Okay, is that better?
No. But then again, I'm seeing only a delay, so, I can't tell for sure. But just try to get yourself in the center. I see the lamp looks like it's more in the center.
Okay.
So, and I know the lamp is better looking than you are, okay?
How's that? Oh,
and I know that it has better things to say than you do, I would think.
It's a lot more animated.
Yes, but there you are. Yes, that's much better. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So let's talk about some things that you would like to talk about, and something that, I do reverse mortgages for a living. You do real estate, normal mortgages, and reverse mortgages for a living. That means you are my competition, and I think that's wonderful, and I welcome it. And I always am ready to put competition on the show, because it's not who does the loan, it's how many people actually get educated on the loan. So I don't know. I think that might be a good subject to take off on. We also have this major change that's coming in November. I don't know if you want to get into that at all on the air or not, but I'll let you kind of guide us on that. And neither one of us have any problem yapping.
Yeah, you make a good point. Before I start yapping, it'd probably be a good time for me to give my NMLS number, which is 450569 DRE 00947-871.
And let's make sure we give your contact information 3 times anyway. So do it now at the beginning of this segment.
All right, we'll do it. Daryl McCance, phone number 310-400-9209. 310-400-9209. And what you and I have in common, Jay, not only do we really think highly of the federally insured reverse mortgage product.
And of each other.
Yeah, but we also both have faces that were made for radio. I don't know
Yeah,
if you ever heard that, but
I've heard that since the first day I was ever on the air, and
so that's another thing we have in common.
Yes, absolutely. Now, do you like the new look or the old look? When I was, I lost another 10 pounds since I was my last doctor. Now I weigh 181.
Well, if you're looking for it, I've got it. I found that 10 pounds, so anytime you want it back, let me know.
Great.
Yeah.
Now hold on to it for a little while. The surgeon I talked to yesterday, he said he wasn't worried about me losing more weight. It was only because I'm eating so much healthier now. So is right on the way back from that doctor's office, we stopped at a fried chicken joint and brought home dinner.
Yeah, that's the way to listen to a doctor.
Now you're talking. Anyway.
I'm sure he'd be thrilled.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about what everybody should want to know more about, correct?
Yep. And I love your typical introduction to the product, where a reverse mortgage is not a religion or a value system. It's simply a program that was designed primarily by the United States Housing and Urban Development. They have a division there, the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, and they have done an amazing job and have perfected it. You and I have been doing this long enough where from year to year to see the feedback that they've obtained from the seniors to make it better and more valuable and preserve the program. They've just done a fantastic job. So I think you and I are both very fortunate
Yeah, I know you're
to have
right.
taken it seriously and educated those that it'll benefit. But like anything else, if people have unlimited money in the bank and their house is paid for and they have the world's greatest long-term care and pensions and everything else, then it may not be something that's valuable. But for the other 99.99% of the people, it's very important to get familiar with exactly
Yeah.
how it works and see if it's valuable for them.
Yeah, and I've been spraying my hands with a lot of disinfectant these last several months, and it always says kills 99.9% of the germs. Well, that 99.9, I think, also reflects the approval rating of people who have had these types of mortgages. And to the people who think, like you said, have everything and probably don't need or don't think they need a a line of credit or anything like that. They There you are. I wanted to see you, but you never know. I mean, I thought I was rich beyond any need at all. I thought I was a big wheel, like I talked about earlier. Now all I do is eat cheese, and I enjoy it, which means I still enjoy life as a big wheel or not. But you never know when that black swan is coming, no matter how things look. And I do think that one of the major advantages to having that line of credit and that reverse mortgage and that increased cash flow, which comes and goes, it's you're the one that decides about your cash flow, not the bank, is how you can help your children. And then whether that's to what Tom had said that one time on the show, that he knows somebody that lives near the Ritz-Carlton, that $25 million home that took out $4 million to buy his kids a couple of homes, or whether just the average you and me type people who can actually help their children a lot, help them get into homes, help them be more stable, help their grandchildren get college tuition, all of that good stuff. They have to think about not just themselves, but the entire family.
Yep. I've got a client. You just reminded me, Jay. This lady owns a property in Downey, California,
Uh-huh.
and her property is free and clear. And
Mm-hmm.
she's working. She's in her early 60s. She looks like she's in her early 50s. She didn't need the money, and she set up the line of credit just as you just
Right. Set it
discussed.
up so you have it if and when you need it. And believe me,
And
you
she
never know
tells me,
when you'll need it.
she says, I talked to her about 3-4 years later, and I said, have you used any of the money? And she goes, no, I owe nothing on my home. It's still free and clear. But she has like a $300,000 line of credit.
Yeah.
Thanks to this program. And she goes, was it a good idea, a bad idea? She goes, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, because I wake up every day knowing that if for some reason I don't want to work or I can't work, I've got what's in effect $300,000
Right.
available.
And
goes,
she's young enough. You said she's in her earlier 60s?
She got it when she is, yes. She got it when she is 63. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody should have a reverse mortgage birthday, like Phil Walker says, when they hit 62.
Yep.
The thing is, the longer you keep those loans, the more money is going to add up in the line of credit.
More available funds. Yep.
And regardless of what happens to your loan, to your home value, and I don't see home values coming down. That's another thing we can talk about. But if a catastrophe of some kind were to happen, like happened in 2008, and your house is worth now 400 and you've got 800 in the line of credit, which this woman could conceivably have, and that's without pushing it that much. She could still take the 800 when the home is worth 400 or 500, and then when the home value comes back, she can put it right back.
Yep. Well, you know what, Jay? Let's not table that on the value, since you mentioned it. when people are excited about getting their reverse mortgage set up, as you know, what you and I have told them over the years is one of the three critical things is the home value. And when the home values and the appraisals are coming in strong is when you set up your line of credit. Unfortunately, there's a one-liner in Wall Street, and the stockbrokers will say most people get it wrong most of the time. And that always draws a good laugh, that most people get it wrong most of the time.
But we live with that all the time when we try to explain.
Right. So to encourage people that with home values up, because we all remember what it was like when home values were down, that could be a situation where somebody, may not qualify.
Right.
Right. So now, while the values are strong, and it's amazing when you look at the time that we're going through right now, when many businesses are down and struggling, but thank goodness that home values are very strong and the appraisals are coming in very strong. And for somebody that's excited about getting this line of credit, whether it's like my client that got it and 3 years later she's never used it, she goes, I hope I never use it, but every night I go to bed, I know I got $300,000 sitting there in case of an emergency.
And we'll always have that, and it's always growing. It can never be canceled or taken away or frozen.
Correct. And that is that's worth its weight in gold. She goes, it's why I sleep well at night. I'll never forget her telling me that.
Yeah.
And here's somebody that got it set up. And then, of course, you and I see every day when people take advantage of the program, it solves a problem immediately, and they're so grateful and thankful that it put their housing in a more secure and it put them on more solid footing. So we see all the time where that happens immediately. But when I see these folks that have wisdom, that put things in advance, have things set up in advance, knowing that tomorrow, like you said, if a black swan flies in,
and you know what? There is a black swan here right now, like it or not.
Yep.
And it flew in probably at the first of the year. We didn't really feel its effect till around March.
Yep.
But I have a feeling it's going to be around for a while longer, and we need to, and that makes things very uncertain.
Yep.
And uncertainty, and I hate to use this kind of negative selling. I just think that when things are uncertain, we ask ourselves questions that we always should have been asking ourselves, such as, where are we going to find the nest egg? What's going to happen if this happens? What's going to happen if that happens? And I don't know if you watched Heckam World's video of Shannon Hicks that I saw this morning, but I kind of disagree with it. He was talking about, I'll make this fast, about how price values are likely, home values are likely to come down, which I kind of disagree with. And that, you're going to get a lot more on your reverse mortgage right now. Well, number one, you don't want to you want to always think about those, but not sell on those kind of things. And number two, I don't think prices are going to be hitting bottom. I think if anything, after this COVID thing, we there may be some adjustments based on the amount of money people have, but they sure are finding it to buy homes right now, which is really going strong, and the values are going up. Yep. We may see inflation and a lot of other things, and we may see it there too.
Well, I think it just depends on where you're at. We're very blessed to be here in Southern California.
Yes,
we went a decade.
Well, you are, because you don't live where I do, but that's I live in, I've said before, in Irvine, which is the dullest city on earth. But I'll stop there.
Yeah, well, I got news for you. We make up for it out here in my little piece of LA County here in Claremont.
Well, you're right on the border. You're probably 10 feet away from San Bernardino County?
37 inches.
Okay.
Yeah, 37 inches. And but the reason I mention it is we had a decade of no building in Southern California, and it's created a tremendous pent-up demand. And so we're very, very fortunate. On the other hand, driving down the road last Sunday, they reported nationwide that 25% of the restaurants in the United States that are healthy restaurants, been around for many years,
Yeah, they're
will permanently close as a result of this COVID-19. So again, I go back to I never predict the future. I know you don't either, Jay. And I think that you're not selling. I think you're advising.
yeah.
And the one thing that I've noticed in the last 4 decades in the business is that home values will move up slow and steady. Sometimes it'll get a little bit even better than slow and steady. But when they drop, it's usually pretty quick.
Yeah,
So-
but you know
so-
what? And I don't mean to break in, but they always come back.
They always come back. The highs keep getting higher and the lows keep getting higher. So,
Right.
so you're 100% correct. But when you have a senior waiting a year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years for the market to come back, that can be really difficult.
You know
So
what? Time is going by faster than the last 74 years of my life, so it's time for you to give your contact information again.
My contact phone number is 310-400-9209, 310-400-9209. And Daryl McCance, and I appreciate your shout out there, Jay.
Oh, no, I appreciate you being a part of this. Definitely.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to deal with somebody that's genuinely handsome, knowledgeable, and downright entertaining, then you reach out to Jay Kaplan. So
Well, I'd say this. I'd say the same for you, but that's okay.
I'm boring by comparison.
I don't know about that, but go ahead on our subject about how more people should realize and understand the reverse mortgage. I hate to call it reverse. I mean, the actual reverse mortgage went away in the 1980s during Reagan's term. They're actually called home equity conversion mortgages by the FHA and by the government. Now we have these proprietary mortgages, which are pretty wonderful. They also, some of them have lines of credit, and they go up to loan amounts of $4 million again.
You know, Jay, and as you say that, I think there's and you see this a lot in the investment side, and I think that you and I would probably be wise to talk about these products similarly, and that is you have insured products and you have uninsured products.
Correct.
Jay just mentioned the uninsured products now go into the jumbo loan.
But we need to remind the listeners that they are insured as far as the borrower is concerned. They cannot lose.
Correct.
It's just the banks that do not have the specific insurance.
Right. And the nice thing about the companies that are not involved in HUD's FHA federally insured program, I was going to say they are following the guidelines. The programs are similar in their design. I think the consumers are making out very well. In the old days before FHA got involved, there was a lot of different things that we all agree probably were early on in the development, but now with these new programs coming out, and a lot of people remember when they bought their first house, they got an FHA loan, and then later on they got a conventional loan, and that's really what Jay and I are talking about. You have both options now. You have the FHA and conventional, and more options for seniors. That's a good thing. Don't you agree, Jay?
Oh, absolutely. And that the most important thing I think about the home equity conversion, or even the proprietary, private, or as some people still call jumbo loans, is the amount of control you have. It's not the bank that has all the control. You have the control, and you have flexibility like you never had before.
Yep. And the people don't realize that it wasn't that many years ago when I let's just go back 7 to 10 years. You had one option. You couldn't use this program when you were buying a home. Now
Right.
you can. They got the heck
Now
of
you
purchase, which is fantastic. And then you have, as you said, the line of credits. There's fixed rate options. I mean, it's fascinating how many options there are now
Yeah.
for a senior to look at.
And have money in the bank, still have money invested, and still have money for emergencies.
Correct. And have the lifestyle of a free and clear homeowner, except when something needs to be done at the house, those monies are there and take some of that stress away.
Yeah.
So to me, it's actually a better, for many people, it's a better situation.
Now, I had a financial planner, a very successful one, tell me several years ago that he had some problem with his peers, other financial advisors, and this was, of course, a few years ago before it was as well accepted as it is now. He sold his practice. He bought a new large home and bought it with a reverse mortgage or with a HECM at that time. When his peers asked him, why would you do that? And let me remind you first, you are the owner of your house. You're not renting. But he was using this as, as a way to portray the situation. He said, I just paid my next 30 years of rent in advance and still have a call option on the property. I repeat that every now and then because I think it's great. That's
really and it's extremely accurate. That's a great way to get that point illustrated.
I still think, do you agree the number one misconception is that you don't own the home?
Yes, I would. I think that if we could read minds, which I can't, but if we could read minds, I think that is absolutely, and it's the opposite of the truth, but it's got to be the number one myth. And the funny part is, it really puts the person into a much better position for long-term home ownership, provides them more options, and they're the only people on title. So
you are. And if you should pass, listen to me, that's the way old people talk, not when you pass away. If you should pass away, the property goes to whoever you want it to go to, whoever it says in your will, in your mind, or in your trust. It goes to those people, and those people have probably more flexibility than in addressing that loan than they would with a major lender like Wells Fargo or Chase.
So let's talk a little bit more, Jay, about that number one myth. If somebody does pass away, because whenever I do any public speaking, I always get that question. I can see everybody's relieved.
Yeah, of course. They're worried about their children, as they should be.
Right. And what I tell them is, let's just, for example, say it's given to a child. I said they got to turn the utilities on in their name. They're the new owner of the house, so the utilities go in their name. They got to be prepared to pay the property taxes, maintain it. They got to put the financing in their name, and then they carry on for the next 100 years or 50 years, however long they want to own it. And it's their house, and they're just so relieved to find out. They go, that's it? I go, yeah. I go,
and in so many cases, having a HECM actually protects your legacy.
Yep.
And we don't have time here, but I have said on the show the Phil Walker thing where they put this group of 10,000 Monte Carlos with that much, and those Monte Carlos that made no changes in buy or sell, but those that had a reverse mortgage to pull from on even 2 or 3 years out of 30, when things were down, those people had much more of a legacy to leave behind than the people who did not have the reverse mortgage. And we're talking about people in mid and high range income here. Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, it is a product that is just getting more and more popular, and the FHA has insured over 38 million transactions and been around since 1934, and they've just they put a lot of thought into this, and it is a solution because in the past, individuals over 62, if they wanted to get their hands on the money legally.
Oh, I'd love to be 62 again. Anyway, go ahead.
Wouldn't it be great?
Okay, we have 1 minute left. So would you like to take that time to give your information again, or finish what you're saying, or?
I'll finish what I'm saying and we'll pick it up on the other side. But in the past, they had one option to get their hands on money legally and safely, and that was to sell the property.
Right.
And once this program came into place, now seniors have 2 access points, and the ones that took this and allowed their home to continue to appreciate, look where they're at today.
And if you think that a reverse mortgage is the biggest problem when it comes to your legacy. It's not. No loan is. Healthcare is. And that's just one way to help protect that. Now, really, we're going away, and I want to thank you so much. And you people out there, don't you think Daryl should have a show of his own? You know, I've been trying to get him to do a second one with me. So, you know, tell him, have him call in and tell him that. And until then, I do want to thank everyone. And as we learned last week, I must confess I was born at a very early age. And next week, Wade Pfau, probably the most famous name in reverse mortgage, will be with us. See you then. Have a great week. Bye-bye.